Hello, everybody. Today we're meeting Laura Dionisio. She is the founder of Lead Intact and the leadership development coach. She is also a true leader in her personal and professional life. Laura, could you share with us your journey of becoming an aligned leadership coach? What led you to discover your true passion in life?
Yeah, absolutely, Anna. And thank you for having me here. I'm very excited to be a guest on your podcast. I love the theme and the goal that you're hoping to share with your listeners. So for me, it wasn't like a big aha moment as to finding my passion, which led me to what I am today, which is an aligned leadership coach. For me, it was about paying attention and becoming aware about the little spark of joy that I would find in my daily life. And I
Mhm.
think that's important because these days, sometimes I feel like there's such pressure to be like, well, what's my calling? What's my passion? And I have felt that way. I still sometimes feel that way. But for me, it's more about paying attention to the small moments in life. And for me at the time, like 5 or 6 years ago, I was volunteering and was very involved in the community where I lived at the time, which was upstate New York. And through my volunteer work, which was through the Junior League of Binghamton, I realized that being in teams, leading a committee, and specifically doing work that's going to give back to the community and having like a joint shared purpose that was bigger than ourselves, that really lit me up. And anything from the actual projects we worked on to the meetings, and that's how I knew there was something there. I would be like a full day working full time at my job, meetings, right? And then I would look forward to meeting with these ladies because it all had to do with how can we help our community? How can we educate our members on the issues in the community? How can we empower our members so that they become the best kind of volunteers that they want to be? And so I was doing that in my personal life. At the same time, in my career as an engineer, I was also a lead. And then at the same time, I was doing other activities. And I just realized there was the whole theme of like leadership and mentoring and like really helping people to see who they are and their potential and believing in them so that they can believe in themselves and take action and essentially become the leader of their lives. So that has really been my journey. It's been just like a slow step by step process. And now I'm here as an aligned leadership coach. And, I love it.
Yeah, that's a very inspiring story of yours. And being an engineer, it's very kind of like a hard career. And
Mhm.
seeing you evolving from that kind of point of regular traditional job into becoming somebody who can inspire others, it's very inspirational. And a lot of people would like to know, what did you learn along the way while you were discovering your true inner leader within yourself?
Yeah. So, what I learned along the way is first to have grace with yourself because as an engineer, someone very focused on the left brain, I have a tendency to be very analytical. I needed a plan and all that. And through my own journey, I just needed to let go. It's so cliche, but it's true. It's when you let go and stop trying so hard, it's when you create space in your life and inspiration comes, right? And so for me or for anyone looking for transition, my suggestion is absolutely yes, dream that big dream, but don't worry yet how to get there.
Mhm.
Trust that if you really want it, that you're going to open yourself up to opportunities. And I don't mean just like, for some of your listeners and viewers, they might think it's a little woo woo. And that's fair. But for me, it's more so that when you open yourself up to possibilities, you start picking up things in conversations, you start talking to people, and opportunities present themselves. So, my suggestion and something that I continue to practice today is absolutely keep that big dream in mind. And at the same time, don't be in such a hurry to get there. Be open to the fact that the steps may not look like what you think they're going to look like, and really celebrate the small wins along the way. So as an example, if you are looking to create a product and you want to create something to sell, and you're like, my big dream is to have multiple, businesses selling different products.
Mhm.
Wonderful. Keep that in mind. But maybe start with just like one product, or maybe start with learning more about the product, or maybe start learning about like, what am I actually passionate about and what do I actually want to bring and give to the world? And
Right.
every small step, like, hey, I just joined this class, I'm super excited about it, celebrate that.
Mhm.
Or you meet someone like how we met, right? Through like a networking thing. It's like, I am doing something. I'm going to celebrate that. I am doing something different for my day to day.
Mhm.
I think the biggest lesson for me is to actually slow down and celebrate the small wins.
Yeah, I think it's important in our busy daily lives. We don't take time to celebrate those small wins, and we're always overwhelmed with thinking about big goals, and we're trying to achieve something in life, but we also feel anxious without knowing how to do those.
Mhm.
So each step will lead you to that goal of yours, but you have to start with small things, and along the way you'll see different opportunities open up for you. As you just said, just be open for it, so you will find what you're looking for. But be kind of like patient and know that it's coming, and celebrate what you have right now. Be grateful for what you have, but know where you're going. So like always in my mind, like you have to keep you have to set that goal for yourself, but know that something could change along the way, and that's okay. And it's not always your plan how to get there.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's a very good advice for our listeners. Also, your practice as a leadership development coach, I know you using the model of the adult chair. I would like you to share more about this concept, and just tell us what it is and how you apply it and how people can benefit from it.
Sure. I love the adult chair model. I didn't start off, joining first the membership and then the course with the idea that this is something that I'm going to teach myself. When I first learned about it, it was more like, oh, this sounds like a great idea for my personal life, because it's such a simplified model to basically get you to live authentically and in the present moment, which is what the adult chair is. So the model is simple. Imagine there are three chairs.
Mhm.
There's the adult chair, there's the adolescent chair, and then there's the child chair.
Mhm.
And each of these chairs represent a specific time period of your life, but also it represents kind of like where your thoughts and your feelings are, which is like just really trippy to think about, to be honest. So for the child chair, imagine a child from like 0 to 6 year old, right? That child, they're just like open and their emotions are out there. Their feelings are out there. There's no filter at that age. They are truly who they are. And then, so that's the child chair where your true feelings, emotions, desires reside. And then in the adolescent chair from ages 7 to 25, that's when the ego kind of comes into play. Not necessarily in a bad way. I don't mean it in that way, but I mean in a way that's trying to protect us from being hurt or trying to keep us safe. So this is when strategies that worked at that time period, but maybe not so much today, strategies like perfectionism, like trying to be in control of things, which was me and still is sometimes me, like people pleasing, etc., come into play. And what the adolescent chair does, or when you're seated in your adolescent chair, what you're trying to do is basically what you're saying is, I don't want to feel the actual feelings in the child chair because that's scary or
Yeah.
that's hard for me. So, as an example, rather than actually feel my fear of transitioning into a new career, I'm going to come up with reasons like, hey, I can't come up with a plan. I can't control every actual situation, instead of allowing myself to really feel the fear. Now, if we go to the adult share, which is ages 26 on, and I say age 26 because if we had parents who were able to teach us these things and like emotional intelligence, then, we would be able to be in our adult chair. But you
Mhm.
don't have to have had that in order to be in your adult chair. This is something I learned later on in life. So the adult chair really teaches us to be present and to be grounded in truth. So taking the example of like, hey, I want to transition out of my career into something else, being in my adult chair, I can say, wow, I am really feeling some fear right now. So I'm acknowledging the child chair.
Mhm.
And I can recognize the strategies that are playing in my head right now, which is giving me reasons why it's not going to work because I can't control it, because it's not perfect or whatever it may be. And at the same time, being in my adult chair, I can say, and at the same time, I'm feeling excitement too. And like
Yeah.
I can feel myself being lit up. And
Yeah.
when you're seated in your adult chair and you're just seeing yourself with grace and with just awareness, then you can come from a place of I'm scared and I'm excited and I'm going to do it anyway. So that in my personal life has benefited me tremendously. And then taking that into now I'm doing like my leadership development coaching. It's
Mhm.
beautiful because it's such a simple way to ask yourself in the moment, which chair am I seated in right now? It like when I am talking to someone, what am
Mhm.
I actually feeling?
Yeah.
And what am I actually saying without any judgment, just like stating the facts.
Just observing the behavior
Exactly.
without judgment.
Exactly. And then from that place, you can make a better informed decision because you're not pretending you're not feeling a certain way. You're not pretending like you're not, you know, perhaps using old strategies. You're just like, hey, this is where I am. And so I just have found that model to be the simplest and most effective, both personal life, professional life, and in coaching my clients.
Yeah, I think a lot of people would benefit from using this as a tool to kind of like look at their behavior and their feelings without judging themselves, being kind of compassionate towards their inner child and recognizing which chair they're sitting in. And perhaps they could do some inner work into transitioning like from the adolescent to adult chair, and that's where they will feel more fulfilled and happy and joyful. um, yeah, so I think it's a very simple but at the same time profound model to use, and I know you are certified in this
Mhm.
model as well. So if people would like to learn more, I will put a link in the description of this episode. And that would be something I think a lot of people not evaluating how important it is to work on our mental health and putting it as a priority. So by knowing what's available out there and how they can work on themselves, that would be a huge benefit, not just for them, but for all of us as a society.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that 100%.
Right. And I just want to know if there anything on your mind, any like new plans for yourself in your coaching career that you're thinking on, and if you can share with us maybe like next step of what you're planning to do.
Sure. So it's funny. It's this also goes out to any of your listeners and viewers. Like for anyone who's like, I I feel stuck in my current job or current role, but I feel like there's something in me. If you feel that, just write it down and just make sure you don't lose it, whether it's an idea or thought, or like whatever it is. And the reason I mentioned that is because speaking of next steps, I had come up with this program idea, like an evergreen type course 2 years ago, like two years ago. I just wrote it down on on like a Google Doc. And I said, oh, this would be great. It's going to be called, like I see you leader and you go out, something like that. And then I got an opportunity about a month or two ago. Someone had asked me, actually, as part of the adult chair company, the Michelle Chalfant company, they had asked me, hey, I know that your specialty is in leadership and basically getting people to understand that they themselves are a leader, even if they don't see themselves as one. Can you offer like an evergreen course or something like that? And so that's my next step right now is I took this idea that I've had for like 2 years that I wasn't sure what I was going to do with. And I'm in the process of creating an evergreen course. It's called ICU,
Oh,
Finding and Igniting the Leader Within. And the intention and goal behind that is to really get people to gain awareness. How do you view leadership? Do you see yourself as a leader? And
mhm.
sadly, most of the time when I ask that, especially with women, they say no. And the whole idea behind this course is to really think about that. Why not? And what would happen? How would your life change if you saw yourself as a leader? And not just because someone externally gave you the title, but because you yourself called yourself one. How would your life change? And so this course explores that, gives some tools and tips, provides insight on what is the mindset of a leader, and then sends you off with like a practical, this is how you can actually get things done.
Wow. Yeah, this is something emerging. I feel like it will be very beneficial for a lot of people, and especially women. I've noticed how they cannot embrace themselves as being a leader in this society right now. We need to empower more women. I know like some men also need to work on that leadership skills, but especially I feel like in women world, a lot of them, they kind of like not feeling themselves as leaders, not seeing that there is a possibility for them to become a leader, to mentor somebody or to inspire others. So, and it helps to build their own confidence as well. So that course I see will come along the way with building your inner core and applying it towards different parts of your life, relationship with others, your career. So
Exactly.
yeah, you see a different application of it. And I would be happy to see you having this course out there. And I hope everything will come the way you plan it or even better. So like you said, you just had this idea 2 years ago, and
Mhm.
now it's the time. You never know when the time will come for any of your ideas in your mind. So you have to be kind of open for any possibilities.
That's it.
Yeah. Thank you very much for sharing your wisdom. And I was very glad to interview you today. If you have any more advice to our listeners right now, you can just share, and we can talk with you later when your course is out, probably like in a few months or so, right?
Yeah. I'm planning to have it out and like you said, in a few months. So
Mhm.
sometime in early 2023. And for your viewers and listeners, I will leave them with a call to action, which is consider what your life would be like if you saw yourself as a leader.
Yes, that's something to think about. Thank you so much, and everybody have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.